Across our planet exist settlements that challenge every notion of habitability. These aren't deserted relics or preserved historical monuments designed for sightseers. These are functioning, thriving communities where individuals greet each sunrise in environments so harsh that mere existence becomes an extraordinary feat of human endurance. Settlements constructed upon precipices where a single misstep means certain death. Settlements suspended above open waters with absolutely no solid foundation underneath. Settlements nestled within volcanic calderas where atmospheric conditions can prove lethal within moments. Settlements positioned so remotely from contemporary civilization that residents possess zero understanding of what paved roadways even resemble. The overwhelming majority of humanity couldn't endure 7 days in any such location. Yet local inhabitants have persisted across multiple generations. This persistence stems not from absence of alternatives, but because these seemingly uninhabitable locations represent home. Home, regardless of inherent dangers, remains something humans resist abandoning. What follows presents our enumeration of Earth's 10 most extraordinary settlements, where even long-time residents harbor apprehensions about continuing their existence. Remain engaged until our conclusion, because our premier entry showcases a community where laborers venture nightly into an actively erupting volcanic caldera, transporting loads approaching their entire body mass in sulfurous minerals through atmospheres so poisonous that a single inhalation could prove fatal. Before commencing, share through comments your current viewing location and present time. Our objective involves discovering how extensively across nations this presentation extends. Throughout Papua New Guinea's eastern highlands, adjacent to the Asaro River waterway, exists a settlement where living individuals deliberately transform their appearance to resemble deceased persons. During ceremonial observances, Asaro tribal males coat their complete bodies using dense white riverbed clay. Dark pigmentation applied atop this coating simulates exposed skeletal structures. The resulting effect creates ambulatory skeletons progressing slowly, soundlessly, and purposefully through morning mists clinging to highland valleys during early daylight hours. This custom extends back centuries. Oral historical accounts documented by University of Papua New Guinea anthropologists indicate the practice originated when Asaro warriors escaping adversaries concealed themselves overnight within muddy riverbanks. Upon emerging during twilight hours, covered completely in pale clay deposits, their pursuers retreated in absolute terror, convinced they witnessed spirits of deceased persons ascending from earth. These warriors recognized that psychological fear exceeded any weapon's effectiveness. Establishing this lasting tradition, ceremonial masks aren't clay applied directly upon facial surfaces. These represent sculpted headpieces hardened through heat featuring exaggerated characteristics, hollow ocular cavities, elongated mandibles, and mouths captured in soundless expressions of anguish. Each mask possesses uniqueness. Each receives intentional design maximizing inhuman appearance. The Asaro don't perform these ceremonies exclusively for visitors. Although tourism generates income, ceremonies maintain connections to significant communal occasions, initiation rites, territorial conflicts, and inter-clan assemblies. The measured, calculated movement patterns aren't choreographed performance. Design intends creating wrongness, movement patterns human perception recognizes as unnatural. Throughout Papua New Guinea's highlands, where atmospheric moisture and earth merge into daily existence, an entire community discovered centuries previous that humanity's most frightening transformation involves appearing as something no longer recognizably human. Within Mongolia's taiga woodland regions near Siberian boundaries at altitudes exceeding 2,000 meters, fewer than 300 individuals persist from among Earth's final reindeer herding cultures. The Satin, whose designation translates as those possessing reindeer, inhabit conical textile structures called yurts, resembling teepees, which they dismantle and relocate every 4 through 6 weeks. They track their reindeer populations across frozen forests and mountain passages, transporting complete existences upon the creatures they depend upon. Winter atmospheric conditions plummet toward -40 degrees Celsius. Electrical infrastructure, roadways, permanent settlements, and running water remain non-existent. Throughout substantial yearly periods, the Satin experienced complete isolation from the nearest township, itself requiring 2 days horseback travel reaching. According to investigations published through the International Journal of the Commons during 2018, directed by anthropologist Daniel Plumley, Satin reindeer populations declined from exceeding 2,000 animals throughout the 1970s toward fewer than 1,000 presently. Reindeer population loss threatens complete cultural survival. For the Satan, reindeer transcend livestock classification, representing everything essential. Reindeer furnish transportation across terrain no mechanical vehicle can traverse. They supply milk, forming a dietary foundation. Their hides provide clothing and shelter materials. Crucially, they rarely face slaughter for meat consumption. Satan relationships with their reindeer aren't agricultural but symbiotic. Children master reindeer riding before literacy acquisition. By 5 years of age, most Satan children can saddle mount and navigate reindeer through dense woodland. Educational institutions remain unreachable throughout substantial yearly periods. Education, when occurring, requires dispatching children toward boarding institutions hundreds of kilometers distant, separating families across months. Mongolia's governmental administration has extended resettlement opportunities. Most Satan have refused. They persist within taiga regions experiencing -40 temperatures with diminishing herds and absent infrastructure because forest environments, reindeer populations, and pervasive quietness aren't hardships from their perspective. These elements constitute home. Throughout the arid savanna encircling Lake Eyasi within northern Tanzania, approximately 1,300 individuals maintain lifestyles virtually identical to human existence 40 millennia previous. Zero agricultural cultivation, zero domesticated animals, zero fixed dwellings, zero monetary systems, zero governmental structures, zero designated leadership. The Hadza represent among Earth's final authentic hunter-gatherer societies. Their survival depends entirely upon pursuing untamed wildlife using handcrafted archery equipment with projectile points treated with toxins derived from desert rose vegetation, alongside gathering wild berries, underground tubers, and natural honey deposits. Honey occupies such centrality within their nutritional intake that hunters regularly ascend trees exceeding 10 meters elevation, frequently without safety equipment, reaching colonies protected by thousands of African honeybees. Cambridge University anthropologist Frank Marlowe, who dedicated over 15 years examining the Hadza and documented discoveries within his 2010 publication, The Hadza, Hunter-Gatherers of Tanzania, reports typical Hadza adults invest merely 3 through 4 daily hours satisfying fundamental survival requirements. Nutritional resources receive equal distribution throughout the collective without repayment expectations. Hierarchical structures, ownership concepts, and wealth accumulation remain absent. Camp relocations occur every 4 through 6 weeks, transporting minimal possessions. Temporary structures assembled from vegetation and branches require under 60 minutes construction and receive abandonment without hesitation upon departure. What renders the Hadza exceptional isn't survival through necessity, but survival through deliberate selection. Tanzania's governmental administration has repeatedly extended resettlement initiatives, permanent housing options, and contemporary infrastructure accessibility. The Hadza have uniformly declined these offerings. Contemporary civilization exists less than 1 day's journey from their encampments. They acknowledge its existence yet simply desire no participation. Within an epoch where humanity calculates advancement through technological innovation and material acquisition, the Hadza measure progress through autonomy. According to their personal standards, they rank among Earth's most liberated populations. Throughout South Sulawesi, Indonesia's highland regions at elevations approaching 1,000 meters, exists a territory where deceased individuals don't depart. Within Tanah Toraja, upon someone's death, bodies don't receive immediate burial. Bodies remain inside family residences for weeks, occasionally months, sometimes years. Deceased persons receive washing, dressing, and placement within household rooms. Family members maintain daily conversations with bodies. Meals receive positioning beside them. Deceased persons receive designation not as dead but as Tumakula, signifying the unwell one. Until funeral ceremonies occur, communities don't acknowledge complete death. Tanah Toraja funeral ceremonies rank among Earth's most elaborate and expensive. According to ethnographic investigations by Loyola University Chicago anthropologist Kathleen Adams, published through multiple studies between 1993 and 2006, individual funerals extend 3 through 7 days involving sacrifices of dozens of water buffalo. With individual animals valued at thousands of dollars, complete funeral expenses can exceed families' annual income many times over. Deceased persons then receive coffin placement and insertion into cliff faces, sometimes at heights exceeding 100 meters. Coffins receive carving into natural rock cavities or placement upon wooden balconies projecting from cliff surfaces. Wooden effigies called tortau, carved resembling deceased persons, stand guard over burial locations. their painted eyes observing valleys below. The most extraordinary practice occurs during Manin rituals held every few years. Deceased persons receive removal from coffins. Bodies receive cleaning, fresh clothing, and accompany processions through villages. Within Tanah Toraja, death isn't an event or even a transition. Death represents an ongoing relationship between living and deceased, maintained across years, across generations, and across boundaries the remaining world considers absolute. Distributed throughout Southeast Asia's Sulu and Celebes seas exist communities residing upon oceans so extensively that their physical bodies have evolutionarily adapted toward aquatic survival. The Bajau people, frequently designated sea nomads, construct residences upon wooden stilts 10 through 30 meters above water surfaces. Their settlements contain 0 streets, only narrow wooden planks connecting dwellings above waves. Numerous Bajau settlements exist kilometers from nearest landmasses. Certain families experience birth, life, and death without ever possessing a single square meter of solid ground. Children master swimming before walking. By 8 years of age, most can free dive toward depths exceeding 15 meters. Adult Bajau divers routinely descend toward 60 meters or beyond on single breaths, remaining submerged 3 through 5 minutes without equipment. During 2018, a study published through Cell Journal by University of Copenhagen geneticist Melissa Alado revealed something extraordinary. The Bajau possess spleens approximately 50% larger than neighboring land-dwelling populations. Spleens function as biological oxygen reserves, contracting during dives, releasing oxygenated red blood cells into bloodstream circulation. This isn't a trained response but genetic adaptation, natural selection operating across centuries of ocean-based living has physically modified Bajau bodies toward underwater functionality. Certain Bajau communities have traditionally ruptured their own eardrums during childhood deliberately, reducing pressure pain during deep dives. This practice results in permanent auditory damage. It simultaneously permits deeper, longer dives with reduced discomfort than any unmodified human being. The Bajau didn't select oceanic existence because it offered ease. The ocean represented all they possessed. Across centuries, their bodies adapted to match their environment through methods modern science didn't believe possible within such brief evolutionary timeframes. Upon Lake Noka's surface in southern Benin, roughly 10 kilometers north of economic capital Cotonou, exists a settlement exceeding 20,000 inhabitants where ground doesn't exist. Ganvie receives construction entirely upon wooden stilts above lake surfaces. Residences rise 2 through 3 meters above waterlines. Educational institutions stand upon platforms. Marketplaces float upon boats. A church stands upon poles driven into lake beds. 0 streets, 0 sidewalks, 0 land whatsoever beneath the settlement exist, only water. The settlement received founding beyond 300 years previous, and its location reasoning represents among African history's most remarkable survival strategies. During the 17th and 18th centuries, the Dahomey Kingdom conducted extensive slave raiding throughout regions. The Tofinu people who became Ganvie's founders faced capture and enslavement, but they understood something about adversaries providing advantage. Dahomey's Fawn warriors held spiritual prohibitions against entering water. Their beliefs forbade attacking anyone residing upon or above lake surfaces. Therefore, the Tofinu constructed their complete settlement upon the lake, and slave raiders couldn't follow. Beyond 3 centuries, this strategy has succeeded. Ganvie has survived warfare, colonial occupation, and contemporary eras, all while standing upon wooden poles above lake surfaces. According to UNESCO, which has proposed Ganvie for World Heritage designation, the settlement represents among West Africa's most unique examples of human adaptation toward environmental and political threats. Children master canoe paddling before walking terrestrial distances. Fishing provides primary sources of both nutrition and income. Every structure within the settlement requires rebuilding or reinforcement every 15 through 20 years as wooden stilts gradually deteriorate within water. Ganvie received construction escaping enslavement. 300 years subsequently, founders' descendants remain present, still upon water, still without ground beneath their feet. The threat creating the settlement has long vanished, but the settlement persists because residences constructed saving your existence become residences worth maintaining. Next, we are explaining about Makoko. Less than 5 kilometers from gleaming skyscrapers and corporate facilities of Lagos, Africa's largest metropolitan area, exists a settlement where estimated 100,000 through 250,000 individuals reside within wooden structures standing upon stilts above a polluted lagoon. Makoko possesses zero roadways, zero automobiles, zero formal sewage infrastructure, zero municipal water supply, zero governmental planning whatsoever. Every movement toward educational facilities, marketplaces, employment, or neighboring visits occurs via canoe, 24 hours daily. Residential floor levels sit merely 1 through 2 meters above water lines. During intense rainfall, water elevations rise meeting them. The lagoon beneath contains contamination from industrial discharge, sewage, and refuse. Odor persists constantly. Waterborne disease risk proves extreme. Yet thousands of children receive birth within Makoko annually. Many mature without ever experiencing solid ground beneath their feet, according to a 2014 report by Heinrich BL Foundation. Fewer than 30% of Makoko residents access any sanitation facility form. Medical care remains limited toward a handful of floating clinics operated by non-governmental organizations. Lagos State Governmental Administration has repeatedly attempted Makoko demolition. During 2012, authorities destroyed settlement sections, displacing thousands of residents without compensation or relocation planning. International human rights organizations condemned these actions. Demolition ceased, but infrastructure provision never occurred. Makoko continues expanding. New stilts receive driving into lagoon beds. New structures receive construction atop them. New families relocate inward. The settlement expands outward into water. A city growing upon nothing, governed by no one, sustained entirely through determination of people possessing nowhere else going. Lagos ranks among Earth's fastest growing cities. Its most resilient community represents the one constructed upon water with absolutely no foundation whatsoever. Let us start by explaining about Majingo Island. Throughout Lake Victoria's middle, Africa's largest lake, roughly 12 kilometers from nearest mainland shores, exists a rock. Not an island in the tropical paradise sense, a rock. Approximately half a hectare of bare stone rising from water with zero trees, zero soil, zero farmland, and zero natural freshwater sources. Nearly 200 individuals reside upon it. Majingo Island ranks among Earth's most densely populated locations. Exceeding 500 structures, mostly corrugated metal shacks, receive stacking and layering atop each other across this tiny outcrop. Population density exceeds 100,000 individuals per square kilometer. Average living space per person approximates 1 square meter. 100% of the island's drinking water receives transportation via boat from the mainland at costs of $3 through $5 daily per household within a community where average daily fishing income approximates the same amount. Zero plumbing, zero sewage infrastructure, zero medical facilities, zero educational institutions exist. The island possesses a few bars, a handful of small shops, and a single generator providing intermittent electricity. During 2008, Majingo Island triggered a genuine territorial dispute between Kenya and Uganda. Both nations claim sovereignty over the rock, not because of the island itself, but because of fishing rights it controls. Lake Victoria's Nile perch fishery generates millions of dollars annually, and whoever controls Majingo controls access towards some of the lake's richest fishing grounds. According to reporting by BBC and Al Jazeera, between 2008 and 2012, both countries deployed police and military personnel toward the island. At various points during the dispute, Kenyan and Ugandan flags flew simultaneously from shacks meters apart. The dispute has never received formal resolution. Nearly 200 individuals cling to a rock throughout a lake's middle, paying for every drop of water, sleeping in spaces smaller than prison cells, living at the center of an international border conflict. Not because they're trapped, because the fish within water surrounding that rock are worth more than comfort, more than space, and apparently more than the agreement of two nations on whose rock it actually is. Here we are explaining about Kawah tree dwellings, Papua. Deep within Indonesia's Papua province rainforest, throughout among Earth's most remote and inaccessible territories, exists a tribe constructing residences within the sky. The Kawah construct dwellings 25 through 5 meters above ground within rainforest tree canopies, not upon platforms built surrounding trees, within trees themselves. Structures receive support from living trunks and branches, connected toward ground through nothing beyond a single notched pole serving as both staircase and ladder. Families ascend these vertical poles multiple daily times. Adults, children, elderly individuals transporting food, water, firewood, and implements. Falling from 35 meters onto forest floors isn't survivable. The Kawah had zero external contact until 1970, for when Dutch missionary teams made first contact. According to Reed College anthropologist Rupert Stash, who published extensive ethnographic research on the Kawah. Throughout the 2000s, the tribe possessed zero knowledge of any people existing beyond their own forest territory. They believed the world terminated at jungle edges. Tree dwellings serve multiple survival functions. Elevation provides protection against flooding during monsoon seasons when forest floors can be submerged under meters of water. Height provides relief from mosquitoes and ground-level insects carrying malaria and additional tropical diseases. Structures are defensible. The single-access pole can be pulled upward or destroyed within seconds, eliminating access to anyone attempting unauthorized climbing. The Kawah relocate entire settlements every 5 through 10 years, abandoning tree dwellings when surrounding food sources deplete and constructing new ones deeper within forest. Each dwelling requires weeks to construct using only stone implements, rattan cordage, and materials gathered from forest. Zero electrical infrastructure, zero metal, zero written language, zero knowledge of the world beyond trees. Yet the Kawah have survived across centuries within among the planet's most hostile environments by constructing their complete civilization 30 meters above ground. And now, we start explaining about the settlement where people go to work inside a volcano. Upon Java, Indonesia's eastern tip, at the Kawah Ijen volcanic crater's rim, roughly 2,400 meters above sea level, exist small communities whose economy depends entirely upon one thing: sulfur. And to obtain it, miners must descend into the crater itself. Every night, beginning well before dawn, men from surrounding settlements begin the climb toward the crater rim. They carry zero oxygen tanks, zero gas masks, zero protective clothing. Most wear only cloth wrapped around their faces and rubber sandals upon their feet. They carry 2 empty woven baskets connected by a wooden pole that sits across their shoulders. From the rim, they descend roughly 300 meters into the crater upon a steep, narrow trail carved into volcanic rock. At the bottom, sulfuric gases emerge from vents at temperatures exceeding 600 degrees Celsius. The gases condense into molten sulfur, which flows in bright yellow streams across the crater floor and solidifies into chunks. The miners break the solidified sulfur with iron bars and load it into their baskets. Each load weighs between 70 and 90 kilograms. Some miners carry over 100 kilograms. Then they climb back out, 300 meters of steep ascent, carrying nearly their own body weight through clouds of sulfur dioxide gas that burns the eyes, throat, and lungs. According to a 2016 study published through the Journal of Environmental and Public Health by researchers from Airlangga University in Surabaya, sulfur miners at Kawah Ijen show significantly elevated rates of respiratory disease, dental erosion, and eye damage compared toward the general population. The average working life of a Kawah Ijen miner is estimated at 30 years. Many begin in their teens. The pay approximates $5 through $10 per trip. Most miners make 2 trips per night. But there exists another element to Kawah Ijen, making it unlike any other workplace on Earth. At the crater's bottom sits the largest highly acidic lake in the world, nearly 200 meters across with a pH close to 0, lower than battery acid. The water displays a striking turquoise color that looks almost inviting from a distance. Contact with exposed skin causes immediate chemical burns. And then in complete darkness, the most extraordinary sight in Indonesian volcanology appears. The sulfuric gases ignite on contact with air, producing flames that burn electric blue, reaching heights up to 5 meters. Molten sulfur flows down rock faces, also burning blue, creating rivers of cold fire that cascade into the darkness. The miners work by the light of these blue flames. They have zero headlamps, zero electric lights, only the burning sulfur illuminating the crater floor while toxic gas swirls around them, and an acid lake glows turquoise behind them. The settlements that depend upon this work have existed across generations. Fathers teach sons. The route into the crater receives memorization, not mapping. And every morning, as the sun rises over eastern Java, the miners emerge from the crater, set down their baskets, and walk home to settlements perched upon the edge of a volcano that pays them just enough to come back tomorrow night. 10 settlements, 5 continents, thousands of years of human stubbornness. Every one of these communities exists in a location where logic says people shouldn't be. Rocks with zero water, lakes with zero ground, craters with zero air, forests with zero floor, temperatures that freeze metal, and heat that melts stone. And yet, in every case, people stayed not because they couldn't leave. Many were offered relocation. Many know exactly what the modern world has to offer. They stayed because the locations they inhabit, no matter how impossible, aren't just locations. They are identities built across generations, earned through survival, and passed down through traditions that no government program, no resettlement offer, and no comfortable alternative can replace. The rest of the world measures quality of life through infrastructure, through access, through convenience. These settlements measure it through something older, something harder to name, and something that once lost doesn't come back. Which settlement was the most impossible to you? Tell us through comments. And if you made it toward the end, you already know about my channel Forbidden Fathoms. This channel is for you. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications. The next presentation takes you somewhere even more impossible. We will see you there.